Okay.
Good afternoon, folks. Ron here with the JNRH Railway to Abilene, Texas. We're going to share some secrets with Steve on how we make ballast and how we apply it to our tracks. So, what I use, I like Walmart cups. They're great. They're free most of the time. Get the lids with them, you can seal them up. We're going to use some white sand, probably beach sand that we picked up somewhere, and any kind of white or fairly light colored sand. And as you can see, it's fairly white. We have some darker sand, and it works equally well. It will change your color mix up just a little bit, not much, but that's the darker. But we're using the white. You want to make sure your sand's clean. You don't need any surprises in it. So I use a tea strainer to sift it. Now, how we make this ballast is we use tile grout. So it's not too hard to find some of this around people that do tile work. They usually have a lot of left over. And I don't know if we get the camera down here, but this tile grout is what they call gray. It looks kind of a bluish gray. It's caution you about it's very dusty. Very, very dusty, and it's something you don't want to be breathing in. So we mix a little in a cup, and I usually start off with more sand ratio, maybe 70% sand and 30% of the grout. You can always make it darker. You can always make it lighter, but you have to put more sand back in it. So we're going to use about a half a cup of sand. We're going to pour that gray grout in there. And I use a big container, old fruit juice container, anything like that that you can shake this stuff up in. We'll just stir this up a little bit. And the end result is going to come out looking very similar to this. And that is a color that I'm going to be putting on today. So if it's not dark enough, you put a little more grout in it. If it's not light enough, you put a little more sand in it. Now, Steve, what we want to do is go over to the section of track. So let's move our equipment over there. Okay. All right, chapter 2 and how I balance our track. This section of track we're going to use important tools. This is a metal funnel. You can use plastic, but I like the metal because I took a pair of long nose and I squeezed this down to regulate the feed on the material. You'll see how I do this when I apply it. You want to make sure that you got all your rail ties in, particularly where you join the track. Go back and get you some leftover track, pull the rails off of them, and you slip them underneath it. This is our ballast that we mixed up in our specialty cup. We're just going to pour up about a half a cup, maybe not that much. You can see a lot of this dust coming off of it. The reason I only pour up a limited amount is because when you stop moving this funnel and it's full of ballast, you got to do something with it. Okay. Now, we're going to start. We're going to use the wide point on the outside of the rail. And I'll show you why, because I have underneath here the cork roadbed.
Let me zoom in on that right there. Just yeah, there we go. We got it. We're good. Go ahead.
All right, we have the cork roadbed under this track.
So that thing actually rides on top of the rail.
It rides on top of the rail is exactly what it does. And you just fill up your funnel again about halfway, and you just drag this down your rail. And the metal's not going to hurt your rail any. what you can't see is the angle on the cork. I'm going to stop. I have some left in the funnel. I'm going to move across the track and do the other side. I'm going to rotate this funnel so my wider port is on the other side. Now, what extra came out, you don't worry too much about it. It'll all come to pass. What we want to do is, as we progress down the track, we want to catch this chamfered side of the cork road bed, and that'll form a very nice angle like on the prototype. Alright, we just ran out of ballast, so we're going to leave our funnel right where it is. We're going to put some more ballast in here, and we're going to go back down the other side of the track. Now, I'll probably put too much ballast in there. Come back, and I want that to run over the track. And that's going to form a very nice angle. I'm going to continue on down into a section of track that we ballasted several days ago. It happens to be a different color. I'm going to rotate the funnel, and I'm going to switch to the other side. We'll come back down. And we have a magnet uncoupler there. That won't cause any problems. Now I got a little bit of ballast left over, going to do something with it, so I'm just going to kind of spread it down on this previous ballast section of track, and this is how we'll blend it in together. Okay, and that's why I told you don't put too much in your funnel. And we need to stop the camera.
Go.
Important tool that one needs is a toothbrush, and you can get any toothbrush, nothing special. If you put a heat source on it here, heat gun if you have one, form your little angle, makes it real easy to work with this ballast. Here's what we do. We're going to start, and we're going to drag the toothbrush, kind of split it so that you got bristles on each side of the rail, and go right down the middle, just like that. And you don't worry too much about what doesn't go where. And now we're going to come back, we're going to pick up this extra take that.
Go.
Okay, now we're back to our dragging the spread of the ballast. I'm going to come back one more time, and the camera may not be right on target with me, but just bear with me, I'll get in the screen. And we're going to drag this again with this toothbrush, and we're going to work this a little bit, and we're going to drag the excess toward this end. Now, the tricky part depends on how much patience you want and how critical you want to be. I'm going to take the toothbrush, and I'm going to put about half of it on one rail and let the other half of it hang over the side of the ballast. And I'm going to keep my hand as level as I can and drag this so that it spreads out that hump that forms when you first make your pass with a toothbrush. And you do this several times. And as you progress with it, it'll begin to smooth out and look level. Now, right at this point is a hole that popped up right there from something we drilled, and of course I'll have to go back and fill it, but we're not going to worry about it now. And you just work this back and forth. One of the things I like to do is to turn the toothbrush so I get it in a horizontal parallel with the rail, come right back down. Now the rail's in the middle of the toothbrush, and drag the excess ballast off of the ties so that you'll be able to see them. Okay? Do the same on the other side. Now it is important that you make sure that you get all of this gravel or ballast where you want it, so we don't want it in this little area between the magnet and the rail where the flange of the wheel goes. So we're just going to brush that out, because once you put the glue on this, you can go back and rework it, but it becomes a little more difficult. When you put the tile grout in it, it becomes a little bit more along the permanent side. So it can be broke up. All right, and that's how we do that. And we're going to stop the camera. We're going to move to a section of